looking for something? Catherine asked snidely, seeing me cautiously look around. The meaning of life. Let's go already. I couldn't even remember the last time we walked to school like this. She had stayed at my place overnight before when my parents weren't home, but it only happened once or twice. Bring back memories? What does? All this. Katya made a pirouette, her skirt dancing flirtatiously. Although you must have fallen out of habit. Apparently so. I replied briefly in order to avoid continuing this conversation and sinking deeper into the past. Good man. Not much has changed here over the years. Catherine was constantly looking around. Was it supposed to? It's only been a year and a half. I finished with a bit of strain. In our times, everything changes at the speed of thought, you know. Why are you doing this? I just thought it sounded nice. No, I mean, why did you come in the morning and cook breakfast? I can't believe it's just because you care about me. I think you need something from me. What could I possibly need from you? Catherine stopped and looked me in the eyes with a cute smile on her face. I don't know, and don't want to play these games. Well, don't then. Myself, I find them very funny. She immediately turned around and walked a couple of steps ahead of me. So you're not even going to try and deny it, are you? As nasty as it felt to acknowledge it, this punitive honesty was appealing to me, even a bit arousing. Okay, reel it in, buddy. Deny what? Catherine said without turning around. We approached the school and I noticed Michael in the distance. So did Katya. Did you know that Michael likes me? She asked seemingly casually. What? I think he and I would find at least a couple of things to talk about. How do you know? Did he? No, we haven't even talked yet. It's just easy to see. I noticed it right away. Feminine intuition. Katya added flirtatiously. I see. My voice sounded way too unhappy, and deep inside I scolded myself for that. So I'm thinking about what to do with that. What do you think? I don't know. What, you aren't interested at all? Perhaps you could give me a piece of friendly advice. It's none of my business. Isn't it? She gave me a sly smile and approached a group of girls I didn't know. So she did have friends, or at least acquaintances. I didn't know whether Michael noticed us or not, but I had no desire to talk to him, so I slowed down, waiting until he entered the school building. Catherine showed up in the classroom right before the bell and sat down behind her desk, paying no attention to me. What did she want from me in the end? What was with that performance? Maybe it was some strange sort of revenge? It was hard for me to think about that moment, especially with my fight with Himitsu and the whole spy business as the backdrop. Catherine definitely had no intention of leaving me alone, which was beginning to irritate me. God, how quickly can a man's feelings change? Only a couple weeks ago I could only dream about spending this much time with her. And now? Now I'd rather she left me alone, although I was afraid to admit that even to myself, coming up with stupid excuses like I have more important things to deal with now. During the break, Michael approached me, his look implying we were going to have a serious conversation. Hi, have you got a minute? For you? Always. I tried to preemptively shield myself with sarcasm. I really don't want to start it over again, but you leave me no choice. Today you and Catherine came to school together. So you noticed us back then. Yeah, so what? Did you just happen to meet on the way, or... Or what? Tell me. You know what I mean. He averted his eyes for a moment, then looked at me again with the same confidence. You just need to tell me the truth, and I won't come between you two or ruin your relationship. Oh. We're getting serious, huh? Our relationship? I smirked. Why don't you ask her first whether we're in any kind of relationship? It looks different from the outside. How did he always manage to remain so composed and say all this in that calm, even tone? I don't care how it looks to anyone. We're not going to get anywhere like this. I'm not going anywhere. I feel pretty alright here. I said a bit louder than I should have and attracted the attention of the students sitting next to us. What do you need from me, in the end? To tell the truth, are you together or not? He clearly didn't understand or want to understand the hints that there was nothing between us. I was so fed up with all of this. So why couldn't I say it out loud? It often happens. You don't do what you need to. Because of that, you start hating yourself and get depressed. In turn, depression obstructs you from doing what you need to do. A vicious cycle. Anyway, this explanation sounded much better than the thought that I still wasn't able to reject Catherine completely. What if we are? You're going to turn away and leave, pretending nothing happened? If you like a girl, why the hell do you need my opinion? Afraid to hurt my feelings? Come on. You're just being hypocritical. You want to make yourself look good so that nobody will think badly of you, no matter the outcome. And I still can't understand. What do you want to hear from me? Am I interested in her? Only sexually, I assure you. Want to be whole, brothers? Be my guest. Jesus, dude. Nikolai says some of the dumbest shit when he's angry. I stopped for a moment to catch my breath and only then realized the class was gravely silent and everyone was looking at me. Catherine quickly stood up, packed her bag, and left. Accumulated stress will always find a way out. One way or another. There's nothing surprising about that, but I'd pick the least appropriate moment possible. Yeah, no doubt. Michael, I'm sorry. I don't think I'm the person you should apologize to. He said coldly and returned to his desk. I ran out of the classroom and rushed down the stairs. Catherine was neither at the lockers nor in the yard. She could be hiding somewhere at the school or have left already. Anyway, now I couldn't find her. An awful thought flashed through my mind, that she deserved it because of her behavior today. But what did she do wrong exactly? Make a tasty stew? Or merely a return to my life? The bell for class reached me at the school gate. I was just standing there trying to figure out how it had come to this. How could my life instantly turn into a play by an amateur Broadway scriptwriter? Why was this happening to me alone, while other people were living their lives normally? Kyosuke, Saya-chan, even Michael. I was ashamed to return to the classroom, but the idea of being alone with myself enticed me even less. Besides, mean looks and whispers behind my back would be a wonderful punishment for me. Lowering my head and mumbling something that sounded like an excuse, I entered the classroom and sat behind my desk. I couldn't say how my classmates reacted to me showing up, as I instantly stared into my notebook and tried to concentrate on the teacher's words. It's a great piece of advice. When you feel down, you should concentrate on work. Get distracted, so to say. Yeah, right. I don't know a single person who that actually worked for. How could someone simply silence every thought about the things that constitute the very essence of their existence? Himitsu, Catherine, the truth about my parents' death. That was my entire life. If I were to forget, delete it, scrub it away with rubber like a typo in a dictation, what would be left? Yeah, I had no job, and the closest to it was school. But could abstract logarithms, integrals, or biographies of long-dead public figures become more important to me than real problems and real people? Classes had ended a long time ago. I was just sitting alone in an empty classroom, not thinking about anything in particular. I was too tired of everything. Just couldn't concentrate on anything, and I had no desire to go somewhere and do something. Without students, the school became quiet and still, and in this silence, the sound of footsteps coming from the corridor sounded sinister, as if a mortician or a plague doctor were coming for me. The sound was getting louder, but remained monotonous. Every step was accompanied by a dull creaking. Someone massive was approaching. Good old Kyosuke. The door opened slowly, and I was ready for anything to come in, holding my breath. But it was just Kyosuke. Still here? He asked in an unusually serious voice. Don't scare me like that, I exclaimed. What did I do? You're walking like death itself. Nick, you're off your rocker. He came closer and sat behind the desk next to mine. I didn't want to come back at first, but then I thought you could use someone to talk to. About what? Do you think I'm a complete idiot and haven't noticed anything? Even if that were the case, you told the entire class about your problems today. I don't have any. Michael doesn't know when to stop. I don't think it's about him. Or not only about him. Maybe. But what do you want from me? I'm just fed up with the situation, all these misunderstandings and omissions. Catherine and I are just friends. Catching Kyosuke's admonishing look, I specified. At the very least, we're not lovers. And I really don't understand why you're being so stubborn. You always have Himitsu-chan. Always? I smirked sadly and gave him a look of contempt. It's not a game, you know. Not some A or B choice. You sure? Maybe it is actually that easy and you just need to choose. What if he was right and I was wrong? Well, making a choice naturally wasn't easy, but it was definitely the right thing to do. And by avoiding giving Michael a straight answer, I was postponing my choice as hard as I could. What do you know? But I definitely couldn't confess that to Kyosuke. Sometimes you should just look at the situation objectively and impartially. Hello, who are you and where is Kyosuke? I shook him by the shoulders. Seriously, objectively and impartially? How do you even manage that? I'm just giving you a bit of advice. That's the easiest thing to do. He finally smiled. Ain't that right? Anyway, you could use a distraction. Want to go to an arcade? Yeah, let's go. Listen, nothing's gonna pull you out of the dumps like gaming with the boys, alright? Go gaming with the homie. Even if Kyosuke was right, it's not like I didn't know as much myself. But knowing what's right and proper doesn't then make your decision any easier. We left the arcade when it was already dark. Alright, so what's your advice? In Galaxian? First, try to shoot the ones on the sides to make free zones. No, damn it. Well, about that. You're probably asking the wrong person. He scratched the back of his head and smiled sadly. I'm not asking you for love advice, just tell me what you would do if you were me. I really need an objective opinion, so to say. You said it yourself. Well, I would choose Himitsu-chan. Kyosuke replied without any hesitation. Somehow I thought he would try to deny it and hesitate for a while. Really? You're unusually decisive today. Guess arcades do some good after all. What does that have to do with arcades? I've always been on her side. Really? I don't remember you ever telling me that. Have you ever asked? True enough. Kyosuke, with his voracious passion for 2D, always seemed like the last person to talk to about real girls. Never mind. So why do you think that? I don't know Catherine-san that well, as you're aware, but I am quite familiar with Himitsu-chan, and I know about the things she's done and keeps doing for you. Is this your way of trying to shame me? No, I'm just stating facts. Am I wrong? Wrong in what sense? Are we going to measure the things she has done for me in kilograms or kilometers? No, god damn it, in feet. Nick, why can't you just agree with something when it's true? I'm not saying you're wrong, just... Then why do you always need these clarifications and clauses? Maybe because this way I feel less guilty? Uh-huh. You know, life isn't all black and white like in your manga. You think I don't understand that? At least you have someone to choose from. It was hard for me to continue this conversation. I really didn't want to upset Kyosuke. To him, all my problems seemed to be just romantic ones, since he didn't know even a fraction of the truth. I wondered how I would have acted if he was right. If my parents hadn't been killed, but really died in a car accident, if Himitsu's father hadn't been spying on me, and Catherine's mother was just a diplomat. In his view, that's what my life was. And 1.5 years ago, that was exactly the case. And I chose Catherine without hesitation back then. Well, I guess that's enough for today. See you. I stretched my hand out to him. Will you come to school tomorrow? I will. We said a warm goodbye and I headed home. The lights were on in my house. I froze, thinking that Himitsu could be there, and tried to hold back the warm feeling in my chest. I slowly entered the yard and opened the front door with my key. However, I didn't find her shoes in the hall. I didn't even know why I paid attention to that, but my heart skipped a beat. She couldn't have come to me wearing slippers, could she? Trying not to make any noise, I sneaked into the kitchen. You again! Catherine looked at me idly and recrossed her legs. I see you're expecting someone else. It's more like I wasn't expecting to see you. Sorry, I decided not to cook dinner since you didn't seem to enjoy breakfast. She smirked and fidgeted with the fork and the box of instant noodles before her. Still not a fan of chopsticks? I was wondering if you'd come alone or not. What does that have to do with anything? I was about to get angry, but I immediately remembered my behavior at school and felt dejected. Look, I'm sorry for everything I said today. That's not what I really think. No, of course it isn't. I understand that you're having a rough time, getting a little jumpy. She didn't say anything that wasn't normal for her, but this time it really got to me. So why have you come then? Especially after what I've done. Did you think I would hide in the deepest hole I could find, cry, pity myself, and curse you? Maybe it would even be appropriate considering the situation, but why would I do that? So instead you decided to come here. That's definitely the more logical move. I approached the fridge, opened it, found nothing, and just poured some tap water into a glass. It's not about me at all. What is it about then? Himitsu. What about her? I grew cautious instantly. I heard my mom talking on the phone. Kachi smiled but was clearly fidgeting in her chair. Himitsu's father works for Japanese intelligence and spies on you. I wanted to tell you in the morning but couldn't find the courage. Are you going to say anything? I kept looking at her expectantly but a bit vacantly at the same time. I'm wondering where your sarcasm goes when you start talking about serious things. Do you know that chameleons can't change hue in their sleep and always remain the same color? Nick, I'm serious. Then maybe you'll tell me something I don't already know. So you... She stood up and came closer. How can you talk with her after that? Don't worry, we no longer talk. For now, at least. How long have you known? For some time, I replied evasively. So it turned out that Catherine came and told me everything herself, unlike Himitsu, who confessed only when I forced her to. This made the burden on my heart even heavier. That's just like you. What exactly? That I trust the only person close to me who's never betrayed me before? That's what you think. She whispered, but I paid no attention and kept attacking her. It's so weird that I'm looking for support from anyone at all when I'm besieged on all sides, isn't it? By Himitsu and you and others. I wasn't shouting, but Catherine looked frightened. That's so strange for normal people. Is that what you think? Any normal person would have long offed himself in my place. Or tell me what I gotta do, and I'll do it. And what are you accusing Himitsu of? Do you think she worked for the Japanese intelligence? It just so happened the stars align like this. Everything in my life is fucked by default, so what's so surprising about that? Katya was quiet, but after these words, straightened up and seemed to become as tall as me. You fucked it all up again, Nick. First you lost me, and now apparently her. And what do you blame? The stars? Oh, you know what? Get his ass, Catherine. Get his ass. What? Her words surprised me so much I staggered back and hit the sink behind me. What did I do wrong? You always blame everyone else. Me, Himitsu, others. What others? There's only two of us here, and Himitsu's in the house across the street. You know full well you two aren't my only problem. I turned away to avoid looking her in the eye. And you will never find a solution if you keep waving everyone away. I'm such an idiot to have come here. I think that you could still be helped. And now even when someone spits in your eye, you just say it's rain. But I must say, you two deserve each other. I felt a strong need to say something and came up with an objection, but I had no strength. I felt as if her words had drained the last bits of my will to live. I just don't know what to do. I noticed as much. I'm so tired of this game. Playing emotional ping pong. You become sarcastic, I retaliate, I snap at you, and you get pissed. Catherine didn't respond, but clearly grew embarrassed. Well, I guess it's my turn to say, that's life. Everything could be different. And just this morning, I was absolutely sure that I had no feelings for her. And now? I didn't know. Of course, but it's not. And looking for someone to blame won't do any good. I'm not looking for anyone to blame. But thanks for telling me. Did your mom tell you anything else? No, nothing else. She replied after a short pause. But I'd say this is already more than enough. In any case, I told you what I wanted to, and I have nothing else to say, which means I have nothing to do here so long. I saw her to the door. If something happens, you know where to find me, she said as a farewell. Why did she need to say that? To leave me with a foolish hope, or to keep me on a short leash? I looked out into the street and spent a long time staring at the light in Himitsu's room. Catherine didn't tell me anything new, but brought in unbelievable pain with her stupid, unnecessary, inappropriate honesty. Why was she so willing to tell me everything except for what really mattered? I watched TV until late in the night, trying to get rid of thoughts of ditching everything and joining a monastery. Alrighty. God, you like... Excuse me. But like... It's amazing how dense this motherfucker can be when literally everyone is calling him out on his shit. Himitsu's calling him out on his shit, Kyosuke's calling him out on his shit, Michael's calling him out on his shit, Catherine's calling him out on his shit. Like, goddamn, at this point, who isn't calling him out on his shit? The only two people that aren't calling him out on his shit are the two that aren't really involved, and that's Kagome and Ellie. They're the only ones that aren't at this point calling him out on his shit, being like, hey dude, you're kinda fucking up, what's going on there, bud? Like, goddamn. This motherfucker's so goddamn dense. And Catherine, like, she's fucking painting it in the most simple terms she could possibly paint it. And he's still just like, why would she say that? Like, my guy. Come on. Why do different people like different colors? Fuck if I know, dude. Why is this where we're going? Freud and Lusher most definitely have their opinions on that. I've always struggled to make a clear choice. Sometimes my favorite color could be blue or violet. I used to hate yellow, and my childhood preference was white. Of course, there are strictly scientific explanations for the matter, but in our everyday life we're used to more basic interpretations. Red symbolizes the unbridled fervor of fire. Blue epitomizes the serenity of the clear summer sky, while black reminds us of the dusty shrouds and gloomy vaults of a Gothic church. I wasn't sure which colors I would associate with Catherine and Himitsu, but in my memories their smiles used the same palette. I mean, yeah, they both have white teeth, I'd hope. I sure hope their smiles were the same color. The sound of the TV woke me up, and with some effort I blew my nose. The night wind had made it pretty stuffy. Due to the uncomfortable position, my back hurt, making the awakening even less enjoyable. On the screen, chipper and overly smiley news anchors were wishing a good morning to all the inhabitants of Tokyo. They had it easier, of course. These programs are usually pre-recorded. Now they were peacefully sleeping in their cozy beds. Right after the fake smiles and tons of face powder came a cooking show. Spend just 5 minutes and make yourself happy with a tasty, healthy breakfast. A professional chef with more than 20 years of experience was shouting, skillfully filleting fish and slicing vegetables. Yeah, right. I wouldn't be able to cook anything like that in even 3 hours, with or without all the ingredients. Although a dead mouse, a couple of dozen cockroaches, and some soy sauce would make for an undoubtedly higher protein, though probably not as tasty meal than the one prepared by that TV chef. Having weighed up all the cons and failed to find any pros, I got dressed and walked to school. I had no desire to skip class, since I had nothing else to do in the morning. By skipping breakfast, I managed to find some time to drop by a shop and buy a couple chocolate bars. I wanted to go to my favorite ramen place as well, but after counting the money in my wallet, I abandoned the idea. And I still had a week before the end of the month. At school, everything seemed normal. Joyful, enthusiastic Kyosuke, Michael with his book, Catherine who was expressly ignoring my presence. Everyone seemed to have forgotten about my behavior yesterday. Or merely pretended to, keeping up appearances. In any case, I didn't feel like an exile. No more than usual. Not that anybody ever paid much attention to me. I had to admit I was a little scared of the derogatory looks and whispers behind my back and on my way to school. But life went on as usual, but not noticing me and my problems. During the second class, a note landed on my desk. Come to the roof at lunch. It was written in Japanese. The handwriting looked familiar, but it definitely wasn't Katya's. I was even kind of happy to receive the note, since I was starting to get bored. So this is a thing too, huh? Now the absence of adrenaline equaled boredom to me. During the long break, I went to the roof, waving Kyosuke away as he offered to have lunch together. However, there was nobody there. Apparently I was too early. Was what I thought as I sat on the bench, preparing to wait for the author of the note. The door soon opened, and Kagome jumped into the arms of the unfriendly autumn wind. Well, yeah, I should have expected that. I muttered. What are you mumbling there? Kagome asked in an intimidating tone, coming closer. I want to clarify something, just in case. Did you write the note? Yes. She replied briefly and sat next to me. Right. I realized why the handwriting looked familiar to me. Kagome was the class rep and would constantly write things on the blackboard. We were meeting each other a bit too often these days. You're in no position to make jokes. What else can I do? You're in danger, don't you understand? In danger? I've managed to uncover something else. The father of your red-headed girlfriend works for Japanese intelligence, and he may be somehow related to my father's disappearance. God damn it, does everyone actually know more than I do about my own life? I exclaimed and flung my arms into the air. Doesn't seem like it's news to you. She squinted her eyes, but I immediately asked a question. How did you learn that? I have my own sources. Kagome responded unsurely, turned away and shivered from the strong wind. Here. I stood up, took my jacket off, and tried to put it over her shoulders. What are you doing? She immediately jumped up from the bench and ran a few feet away. She's trying to act like a gentleman, since you trust me. I mean, you've told me so much important information already. Kagome calmed down a bit, but didn't come closer. It's because I still hope that you're a reasonable guy. Besides, we're in a similar situation. I want to believe that you'll act reasonably. I have to say, though, that so far you've been as useful as a dug-up corpse. Well, I'm sorry for not knowing anything else. At this point, it was mostly the truth. Why do you think I should blindly trust you? Because I have no reason to lie to you. I'm just looking for my father. I didn't reply, but her words made me feel guilty. After all, Kagome, despite her rather complicated personality, had opened up to me and relied on me to some extent. You're right, sorry. Is there anything else you know? And how do you even know about Himitsu's father? I've told you enough already, and you seem completely unsurprised by it. I'm just tired of surprises. I smiled idiotically. But I would like to know more about your sources. Tit for tat. I have nothing to offer in return. It's not like this is a card game. If you were me, wouldn't you want to know everything? Are you so sure it's easier to be you than me? No, but that doesn't change anything. Unlike you, I'm trying to do something. I've already told you everything I know, and how I found out isn't important. Just for your information, a one-sided relationship like this can't last long. Oh, so we have a relationship now. Asshole. Kagome hissed, and I was left alone. I seem to remember that Himitsu once said I should change my attitude toward other people. Even though I had started to behave differently with her, and maybe to some extent with Catherine, others remained of as little interest to me as before. But Iwamura could have become a useful ally. She sure could have, sir. She could have become a wonderful ally, maybe even more than an ally. Which is why I did that first and foremost before anything else. Next time, if there was next time, I'd have to treat her with more respect. No, that's what I did the first time. This is the next time.